What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday, July 3rd, the day right before 4th of July. It's 4th of July weekend. Everybody's doing well. Let me get this shared out quick. So people know I was going to do a live yesterday, just wasn't feeling up to it. All right, get that shared out. Some crazy news. Most of you probably have seen in the NBA. I don't know how many of you follow NBA, but obviously big blockbuster trade. There's a lot of mixed people out there with different opinions on the trade. You know, why go after a center who the game isn't really played the way with a true conventional center? What up, Nate? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. If you want to pop in, I'll probably drop a link. Anybody wants to come hang out, we're just gonna BS and chat for a little bit this morning. See where it goes. I told people I was possibly gonna stream yesterday, just wasn't feeling up to it. Figured I'd have a little morning coffee with the team. I actually was got a call, woke up a little earlier today. I was gonna try to sleep in. I watched the UFC fights last night. That was a pretty good card. I actually fell asleep during them, but pretty much saw the majority of it. And my youngest daughter had called because she was at her mother's, and my oldest daughter and her work at the same place, and they were supposed to work together, start at the same time. But my oldest was not feeling good, so she was calling into work today. So she needed a ride because her mom was still sleeping, whatever. So called me like 7:30 to make sure that I could get out there and get her, which I just got back from doing. So but Gobert is a good trade. Timberwolves had to make one. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I guess the talk is the people that don't like it are you gave up all these first round picks. The conventional center is not the way, what's going to happen come playoff time when, teams stretch out, play small ball, etc. Like, he's not probably going to really fit in that role, but I think it makes things very, very interesting now. And I think with Karl Anthony Towns, now here's the other question. Can Karl's foul trouble, can he contain that, get better with that, especially now guarding fours, right? Because he's going to be playing more of that four role. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all takes place. But we didn't get rid of Jaden McDaniels, which was huge. We didn't get, Ant wasn't part of the deal. Towns wasn't part of the deal. And if you look at that now, we have, so we got D'Lo, we got Ant, we got McDaniels, Towns, and Gobert. That would be like our starting five. And actually, somebody had posted something about like a pretty strong rotational 10, with the backups. So we're sitting all right. I think we should be okay. We'll see how this transpires and where this takes place. But I think in the end for us, I think it was a great trade. I'm excited. I was not happy to see Pat Bev have to go, but I was listening to one of the local morning shows this morning, and they were talking about what's up, Matt? How you doing, brother? How you been, man? Good to see you. They were talking about how like Pat Bev and Ant like had made some post a while ago about defensive player of the year because Gobert's been the defensive player of the year for 3 years. And they said, why is he guarding? Why would he be guarding? One of the worst players on the floor most times if he's the best. Like they would if they were the best defensive player, then they would be guarding one of the best players on the team majority of the time. Now, you know how rotation zones, all that stuff work. It's kind of like in DFS. Like, I think it's always funny when people talk about how in sports, positional wise, like in the NBA, oh, well, don't play this guy because he's going up against the best defender. But they don't realize that with zones, switches, rotations, like how often is this player really being guarded by, say, this top defensive player, right? I mean, it's kind of a bogus thing to look at. It's kind of a bogus stat. If you're going off of that playing DFS, you're probably shooting yourself in the foot because you see it time and time again where players that are going up against some of the best defensive players put up monster games or good games and are some of the top scorers in that slate, if you will, if we're talking daily fantasy. Now, are you, man? How the hell you been, buddy? Good to see you. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If anybody wants to join in, you guys can. Feel free, and you don't have to. But if you want to come on the panel, we can have a little Sunday morning caffeine with the team. You got it. I got the Casey's. I already had my Frappuccino earlier because, like I said, I had to be up. I got a call early this morning. So I already had that, and that wasn't enough. I've been kind of dragging, even though I've gotten lots of sleep here lately. My weekend is going to consist of probably not really much at all. My kids are all working, or they got things going on with their friends. You know, they're all at that age now. So, and, you know, it's just me, myself, and I and Zoe. So probably going to be doing a whole lot of nothing. I don't know. Probably Zoe's not a fan of the fireworks. In fact, last night when I took her out to go to the bathroom before we went to bed, somebody down a couple neighborhoods down was shooting off fireworks, and it was almost impossible to get her to do what she had to do before we went in. Like she was trying to go back to the door to get inside. She's not a fan of it, and a lot of dogs aren't. I get it. You know, the shots and whatever, they don't like that. They don't like that noise. It scares them. So I personally like the trade. Gave up too many current players and draft picks for the center. Not sure that holds in play. See, and that's the people that don't like it. That's what I was talking about earlier. The playoff talk is really what most people, if they don't like it, aren't, and giving up picks. But you got to remember, we're all in on Anthony Edwards. And we have Karl Anthony Towns linked for how many years now? We have it. I'm assuming Ant's going to take his contract, which is going to have another here 4-6 years when that offer comes up. You got Gobert for 4 years. We didn't get rid of McDaniels. They wanted McDaniels. Like, that was a big part of that trade. Danny Ainge wanted McDaniels, so we said no. So that's where we had to throw in more first-round picks. But you got to remember, these first-round picks, who was it? I retweeted it. Some beat writer or something said, you guys realize we're giving up, 14 or 13-year-olds right now or whatever age, future picks. We have no idea what they are. And yeah, they could be the best player to ever come around. You know, we just don't know. Here we go. Here you go. Phil Mackey says, for Timberwolves fans upset with the Rudy Gobert trade, the Wolves added the best defensive big in the NBA, a top 3 win share per guy, 48 guy, without giving up Ant, Cat, Jaden, or D'Lo. They kept the nucleus 100% intact. Who cares about the 6th grader they might draft in 2029? So again, that 6th grader right now, you know, when that time comes, could be the best player ever. As the years go down, you know, we'll find out. What time will only tell us that. But in the end, I think overall we have a pretty solid. I mean, and I was looking at, I forget who. I don't think I retweeted it, but somebody had posted too about having a solid, 10-man rotation with who we have and where we're sitting. Now, I hate to see Pat Bev go, but again, we got Wendell Moore, who we don't know what's going to happen with him. I have high hopes for him as the years go down. I don't think he's someone who jumps in and takes D'Lo's spot, but I think he's somebody in the next 2 years, 3 years, could possibly be that guy. We'll see. And then you have, we forget we have McLaughlin, we have Noel. Noel has shown real great signs when he gets the run. I just feel like he needs to get that run. So, Zach, working brother, that's until. What's up, Jay? How you doing, buddy? Good morning. Working brother, that's all until I move. Love my Bulls move. I know a lot of Bulls fans can't stand Tony Bradley, but I think keeping him. Yeah, Tony Bradley. You just got to get the right move. Good move to sign Drummond. Did they give up first round pick this year? Yeah. So it's really 5 first round picks because of Kessler goes as well. So it is 5. They say it's 4 because he was already drafted. He was already on the team. That's why they don't technically say it's 5 first round draft picks. But if you want to include this year's pick, who was already drafted on our team as a first, that would be 5 first rounds. So yes, yep. Yeah, the dude that Beverly probably getting an age, there will be a solid season team for sure. Yeah, I mean, and that's just it. It'll be interesting to see. I think the wins will be there. I think we'll continue to hopefully get a little farther in the playoffs, not out the first round. Maybe we won't have to be, in a play-in to even make the playoffs this next year because of the in-season. But you're right. It's hard to say. Time will tell. Are we going to be that team that's how is it going to look come playoff time? So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Nate, you got any streams coming up or anything going on? I know you've been having some vlogs and stuff. I know you've been traveling a lot. You got any big travel plans? Anything big coming up on your end? Let's see. What else? Guys, I don't know if you guys that Topps anniversary set came out. Man, these cards are so nice. I guess you could say they almost look like reprints. But I bought a personal box for like $100. I got a Mike Trout silver. You get like one of these per box. Got the Robert, Dahlbeck. And they got these teal waves. They got different numbered cards as well. But check this out. You get 4 of these per box. I mean, and it's a 700 card set. So these actually have some decent value. You can actually pull a Mickey Mantle. I guess you'd consider it a reprint, but it's from this set. It looks like the original 52 Mantle. You can pull that card too. Shout out to Syndicate Sports Cards and also my boy Javier. I had claimed some cards from a sale, and I had tagged JJ Correa, Bowman Chrome, Wave to 75. Little Acuna to 250. Yeah, 250 purple. Ring cones, Shimmer to 150. And then a couple of Lucas. But I had claimed these, and I had tagged Javier. What's up, Fester? Good morning, brother. Yeah, beautiful refractors. Yeah. A Jazz? Yeah, did you see? I actually pulled a Jazz in the break. I got a couple of Lucas, but I had claimed these from my man Syndicate Sports Cards on Twitter. And then I had tagged Javier because there was a nice Pache Bowman numbered card. And before I knew it, Javier had hit me up and said, "Hey, dude, I bought that card, and I also paid your tab for Syndicate." So shout out to my man Javier for a little hobby love, little rack there. Always doing good things. Would love a Yaz Crawford Wade Jr. Yeah, the Jazz. I pulled that Jazz. That I guess you'd call it the X Fractor. I pulled that one of the boxes on Thursday night when I was breaking over at Triple Diamond Sports Breaks. So, which was fun. We had a really good night, man. We did a 2-box no huddle as well, Prism that filled. Pulled a that break insert the for the no huddle, the Prism circle, little bubbles or whatever. Pulled a T-Law and pulled a Justin Fields fireworks rookie insert like that. We pulled 2 to 5s, but they weren't big names. One was a rookie for Tennessee, that Farley guy, Caleb Farley. We pulled a Dallas Cowboy non-rookie to 5. Jalen Brown or something was his name. But we had a Certain to like 75 on the no huddle. Trying to think of who else. Some pretty good cards, man. It was a decent break. I need some Steve Garvey, Joe Carter. Yeah, and that's just it, man. $100 a box. And there's just it's just a fun rip, man. It's 16 packs. There's 4 cards per pack. You know, for $100, you can't go wrong. And I saw Fanatics had some kind of mega boxes that had like 4 special type refractors or parallels or something too. Somebody had posted a thing the other day about them selling some megas. I need to start figuring out what product I'm going to buy for the 24-hour stream that we're going to rip. I know I want to get some select football 21 megas at least. Some of that stuff I'm just going to have to do like megas or blasters or hangers because the price on it's just too crazy. Somebody had brought up too that Prism basketball is going to be coming out soon. In fact, let me take a look and see. Let me pull up the calendar here and see when Prism basketball releases. Boggs or Sandberg? Boggs, Sandberg, I think they're all in that. They're all in that, dude. Fester, I'm not, man. And like that's what I was telling these guys. Like, I'm literally this whole weekend, it's just me, myself, and Zoe. That's it, man. You know, would I have been probably going and doing something if things were different from the changes in my life? Yeah, probably. But it is what it is, man. I've been doing just a lot of just hanging out with the dog. And I was telling them before you popped in here, I took Zoe out last night to go to her final time outside before we went to bed. And somebody was shooting off some fireworks, a couple of things down, and Zoe's just not having it. She was trying to run right for the door to get back in. So I'll just stay here and hang out with her. I don't need to see or watch fireworks. Who knows? I'll just freaking hang out in here. The hobbyists, what's up? But I don't really care about them either. Yeah, they are in J. Beautiful refractors. Let me see. If Pat will is what we think he will be. 18 points, 8 boards. Yeah, Patrick Williams for the Bulls. Yeah, I think that I think you should be all right with that. I mean, I think that dude's gonna be he should be a star. He should be a stud for sure, for sure. Let's see. Hobbyist, what's up, buddy? Let me check out the comments. All setting off fireworks. Yeah. So the last time I did any kind of like setting off of fireworks or anything was actually my grandma was still alive a couple years ago, and my dad was in town. That's when actually they had moved her out of her house into the nursing home and things went bad, and we thought we were going to lose her at one point, and then she came through. So he stayed here for quite a while, and he was here for the 4th. That was like 2-3 years ago. Me and my dad drove to Wisconsin, and we picked up a bunch of fireworks and then shot them off here at the house. It was fun. It's always a good time. Always a good time. I'm just trying to update something real quick here, and then I'm going to find out when Prism NBA drops. 1 second here. For an updated thumbnail. Come on. 1 second, guys. Check your comments here. I'm just trying to check out something. And I don't have my glasses on because of the damn glare. Someone loves me. I need. Someone needs me. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I'm going to have to do that later. I thought I could find something quick. Dang it. All right. That's fine. I'll work on that later. I'll update it later. Let's do this for now. All right. Done. Save. All right. Tim, what up, brother? How you doing, my guy? Again, thank you, dude. Thank you for the awesome lot that you sent that I bought from you. That's gonna That's going to go a long, long, long ways. A long ways in the 24-hour stream coming up here, July 22nd. So I do appreciate you, my man. Again, guys, Timmy's polls. He's the one that I went through that lot. What was it, last weekend? Last Sunday? Maybe I went through it all. It showed up. Thing was packed as good as it could ever been packaged. He had it in a big, medium, flat rate box, and then he's divided them up, in bubble mailers inside of smaller priority boxes and had it all. I mean, there was no way anything was getting damaged, and just awesome, man. So I appreciate you. Thank you for the awesome lot. Again, I didn't really see much of anything. He just like, hey, I got 700 parallels, colors, rookies, and here's the price. And I said, fuck it, I'll buy it. I'll take it. So, Minuteman Scott, what up, brother? Good to see you, man. What you say? Should that kickboxer get that title shot versus Izzy next? The kickboxer. What dude? What's his name? Yeah, I mean, we could talk a little UFC too. I haven't really talked much on that. We were talking about the Gobert trade, obviously, as me being in Minnesota. Some people love it, some people hate it. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll, like I said, in season is going to be great. It'll be interesting to see what happens come playoff time. But the guy who beat Sean, oh yeah. Probably. I would think, man. That dude's absolutely insane. I don't know, man. I think he could give him one hell of a run, to be honest with you. I think he could. I don't know how many of you guys are into that. The UFC, watched the UFC last night, but some pretty good fights. I was a little upset with the whole Sugar Shane fight, the whole eye poke. I get it, man. If the guy can't see, he can't see. He said he could just see black out of one eye after he got eye poked, but it just kind of sucks. Like, fights got to end like that. Who won last night? I haven't even looked. So, obviously, the two champs kept their titles. But Max Holloway, man, he put up one hell of a fight. Like, he got busted up. Like, he had a cut, like, down his eye, like, through his eyebrow and shit that was, like, completely split open after the second round. And I thought for sure by round 3, the doctor was going to stop it. But his cut, man, like, between every round was, like, just, I mean, he literally was taking, like, a rounded gauze thing, and he could fit it in between the cut, and he would just apply pressure, like, while they're sitting there, and then he'd fucking put the Vaseline on it, and it would hold up somewhat decent. I mean, he was still getting some blood in his eye, but he went all the way. Yeah, Cowboy retiring, dude. Cowboy was he's been one of my favorite UFC fighters. It sucks how his career's kind of gone in the last, 3 years, 4 years. But you can't discredit all that he has done for that organization and all of his. I mean, he was at one point the winningest. He is in the list tied with a couple other guys for second most wins in the UFC. I mean, the guy took on fights any and every time. He would have a fight, somebody would get out due to an injury in his weight class or within the 2 weight classes he fought. He would pop right in. He would jump right in, take the fight, man. He's an awesome guy, man. And he will definitely be a Hall of Famer. Like he said, hopefully he gets in the Hall of Fame. Oh, Hall of Fame, no doubt, Jay. Hall of Fame, no doubt. Yeah, so Cowboy did lose. And that was really, that fight between him and Miller was to see who would have the most wins in the UFC, because they both had 23. They were tied with, there's two other guys, I think, besides those two that had 23 wins. But now Jim has 24, and they'll sit with 23. So, Flippin' Mama, what's going on? Mama. Your package, I'm still putting together. I haven't shipped out yet because I'm trying to rack up some more Dolphins for you. I've been getting into a lot of breaks about daily on whatnot. And I have some more Dolphins coming in. So I'm trying to get you a nice little package besides just those few cards that were gifted to you. So your package is still chilling. I haven't sent it out yet because I'm trying to give you a nice little team PC care package, if you will. So, but yeah, Scott, I think that's an interesting take for sure. Is that Alex? What's his name? Alex Pereira or something like that. Dude's a Brazilian dude. Dude's just a beast, man. Like, absolute beast. Flippin' Mama's probably got some insight on. Wasn't there some big boxing this weekend too? You were talking about. Where's the releases? We're trying to figure out when Prism Hobby comes out. Basketball. Why can't I ever find this? New releases. Let's go here. Yeah, like, so that Mickey Mantle is like one in every, in that Topps anniversary, it's like one in every like 11,146 packs or something. Yeah, it's like Alex Pereira or something. I love you too, Flippin' Mama. Appreciate you hanging out and being in here. Cowboy. Yeah, it is sad to see him retire, man. You know, but he did it. He did it on his terms. Like he said, he's going to go be a movie star now. He's already been in like 1 or 2 movies. He's going to take on acting, and I think he's going to do awesome in acting. Like, I think he's just such a humble dude, man. It's just good to see people like that can flip a switch in a cage and be a complete animal. And then when they get outside of it, flip it back to being a most humble, most awesome, most caring dude ever. I mean, the guy opens up his ranch and they have the training facility there. Like, anyone and everyone's welcome. But he says if you come there, you're going to be put to work as well, not just training wise. You're going to be put to work. Like, he doesn't let people just, he's kind of like that. He's kind of like that cousin or uncle or father that a lot of these kids probably don't have or didn't have. Not saying everyone, but some of them, where he's going to teach them responsibility. He's going to teach them, you have to work. You're not just given things. You have to work for them, and not just by training, but doing things around the ranch, helping build when they build new things, facilities, barns, whatever it may be. And he teaches these guys how to shoot, takes them out clay shooting, whatever. I mean, dude's just an incredible guy. Retire on their own. Yep, exactly. Yep. And who else? Who else retired too? Jessica I retired. She was like one of the earlier fights. She retired as well. So, I mean, it's crazy how the sport has evolved. It's crazy just how it's gone. And I mean, again, how much more that UFC just keeps continuing to grow. And a lot of that's to do with Dana White and his his business mindset. And, when the pandemic hit, we're not shutting down. We're going to give people something that they can watch, that they can, get out of all the craziness that's going on in the world. And he never shut down, man. He just kept it going. He didn't lay off one employee, nothing. He made sure they all had jobs through it all. I mean, dude's an incredible dude, incredible guy as well. And, it's his mentality that he doesn't care what other people say about him. And, he shows and teaches that to other people too, that you can't care what other people say or think about you. You just got to continue to do what you believe in, live your life the way you want to live it, and continue moving forward. And whether there's people that want to be in your corner or be behind you or be with you on that ride or not, if they don't want to be there, they don't want to be there, man. It's like, don't chase, don't try to give people time that don't want your time, I guess, is the best way I can try to say it. I mean, if there's people in your life that just don't want to be a part of it, or you have to work so hard to get some of their time or get their attention, probably better off to not chase, to not worry about it, and just move forward. And if you do it yourself, you do it yourself. I mean, hell, I feel like I've been doing that a lot of my life anyway, right? So just do it on your yep. And do everything in your life on your terms, and just do what makes you happy. I've said this so many times, even in the world of work, right? There's so many opportunities out there There really is. Even with how crappy the economy may be, there's so many opportunities out there for people and so many opportunities to do your own thing. You just got to think a little bit. You got to get creative sometimes. You got to maybe change your mindset, change how you're looking at things or how you're going about things. Maybe it starts with, you just changing what you're doing physically with your body, mentally. You know, my man Balls, shout out to my man Balls, who's on a weight loss journey. He's been losing a ton of weight since he's stopped drinking. He's been sober for I think almost 2 years now. We're getting pretty dang close, I think, almost 2 years. So shout out to Balls. He's losing a bunch of weight. His goal, he sets goals now. He's walking now. Tries to walk like 3 miles a day whenever he can. He texted me yesterday and he said that he has a 50-mile walk goal this month. And he's going to, I'm sure he'll continue to up that as he gets in more and better shape. I mean, same thing. I walk every single day if I can. And when I'm working, like as much as I got to work at a desk, like when I'm on my phone calls, sales calls, whatnot, people call, I constantly pace or I'm walking around. I don't try to stay still and sit. I got to like right now if I'm streaming and talking to you guys on this computer. But if I was working and my phone rang, most times I get up out of my chair and I start walking back and forth, constantly moving, not trying to just sit there, sit in a desk chair for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours. It's not healthy. So there's ways that you can do that. Maybe if the phone is like a landline phone at your work, maybe you just gotta, in between calls, if you have the ability to do that, maybe get up, move around, walk, stretch, do whatever it may be. You find it's going to help you so much more when you're just active. You get outside when it's nice. Wintertime is so depressing, at least over in these states, because it gets cold, it gets dark quick. There's not a lot of hours. There's not a lot of hours of daylight, like deep in the wintertime. We could walk, but Zoe's paws would probably freeze. Half the time she can barely stand it out there when it gets too cold in the wintertime, just for her to go to the bathroom outside, So I try to get these boots for her. Like I bought multiple pairs of these boots and I get like one on one of her paws and then she won't let me get the rest of them on. It's funny. It's silly. But if she wore them, I think she would actually enjoy them, not with her paws being. Oh, I got a special guest on. Oh, we got a special guest. We got Kelly.
Hi.
How you doing this?
I'm not feeling very good today.
What?
Not feeling very well today.
Why not?
I
Just plugged up? Allergies or what? You got allergies?
Yeah, my allergies are really, really bad right now. So
Yeah,
my voice is really hoarse, and I'm coughing a lot and trying to hack stuff up, and
got to clear out all that mucus.
I'm not contagious though.
Well, that's good.
I was on Levaquin, which is the strongest antibiotic you can go on before you hit IV.
Really?
Yes, sir. So, I just wanted to touch on first. Hi, everybody.
Everybody say hi to Hip Flippin' Mama. She's the best.
I love you guys. Well, people aren't used to seeing me without Anthony.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
she comes from Anthony, Pittsburgh. Well, at least in this community.
Well, you know what? I have got my loves. Hang on, because why aren't you coming over here? I've got my loves from the jewelry community because that's one of my businesses. I sell jewelry on like Native American jewelry on YouTube 2 nights a week, and that's 90% of my bread and butter. And I sell on eBay and Mercari and all that stuff. I've been a flipper for 22 years. So I've got my reseller community. I have my jewelry community. I have my boxing community, which is very small. And then I have my sports community, which is you guys. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to say thank you to everybody out there that already knows me. Thank you for accepting this old 54-year-old
Oh, we
woman
love
into
having you.
your club,
We
into
love
your
having
club. But no, what I was trying to tell you um, in the chat is I do know quite a bit about sports, um, but boxing is what I go deep in. I
you.
can
Okay.
I can talk boxing forever. But yeah, there's a lot of good boxing coming up. But last time you went live, you were talking about not the walk that you were on. Um, I
The
caught
last Sunday.
yeah,
Yeah.
the last little
Yeah.
bit of that.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the CTE and everything,
Yes.
the
Yes.
first CTE is chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And the very first, this is why I like to collect his cards. The very first person that was ever diagnosed um, was Mike Webster
Oh
from
wow.
the Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that movie, what was it called? Was it called Concussion or
Yeah, I think that's
Critical
actually what
or
it was.
was
Yeah,
it
I'm pretty sure it was concussion.
was it Concussion? I can't remember. But that doctor said, no, there's something wrong here. I'm seeing things in the brain that aren't, because when they do an autopsy, they take your brain apart and they
Yeah.
slice little slices of your brain and they look at them under a microscope. And he's like, no, there's more here. And his boss said, leave it alone, let it go. So he comes back into the morgue and does more research on it and diagnoses this CTE. So had it not been for Mike Webster going through the hell that he went through and eventually killing himself in the back of his truck, he kept giving himself electroshocks. He
Yeah.
kept like shocking himself until he had a massive heart attack and died. That's why I call him a hero. The same with Junior Seau. He
Right.
was on a lot of teams, but he was a Dolphin.
Yep.
Um, for 4 years, he was a Dolphin. When he started exhibiting these same problems, and by this time so many athletes had killed themselves,
Yeah.
Chris Benoit, some other wrestlers, a lot of football players. um, Junior Seau left a note, his suicide note, and he had told people he was going to do this. It
Yeah.
wasn't a secret. He shot himself in the heart so that his brain would still be viable, and he wanted his brain to be examined, and his family went back and forth. They didn't want that, um, and then they ended up, before they released the body to anybody, because there was battle amongst the family and
Yeah.
the culture,
Yep.
because he was Samoa. they the family eventually released the brain to be studied, and yeah, he had CTE. So they've learned a lot about that. And I think it's kind of like how when Dale Earnhardt Jr. died,
Yeah.
um, I'm sorry, Dale Earnhardt died. The policies that were put in place after Senior died
Yeah.
have saved so many drivers now,
Right.
because special helmets, you've got different seats, you've got the wrap around, it just
Yeah.
it's
All the safety precaution. Yeah.
yeah,
Safety
it's phenomenal.
measures.
The
Yep.
same thing with Lane Frost, who is a professional bull rider. I love PBR. I love professional bull riding. um Nobody wore vests until he
Right.
got gored. He was, number one. He got gored, and then, um, his close buddy Duff, who ended up, was his name Duff McCurry? I can't remember his last name, but he ended up making these leather vests and padded vests that saved a whole bunch of people's lives,
Right.
riders' lives, because his buddy Lane Frost was killed. So somebody always has to die for good to come out of it. So
Yeah.
you've got these players that are now not playing, like you were talking about. They're not playing, cortisone shot in the knee and back out on the field. They're
Right.
not doing that as much as they used to do,
Right.
because what's the commissioner's name? Roger Goodall?
So
The football
for
commissioner. He's not
yeah,
the
yeah,
football commissioner now, but he was
yeah,
then.
Roger Goodell. Goodell, yeah.
Roger, oh, Goodell. Okay.
Goodell. I
I
guess
called him
you can
Goodall.
pronounce it two different
Anyway,
ways. Yeah,
he
it's just
he
whatever.
was in total denial. It took him like 5 years before he stepped up and said, okay, we're acknowledging, there's science to back this up,
Yeah,
and football's not dying because of it. And that's what he thought was going to happen. He
right.
was going to lose his precious NFL. Um, so there's a lot more precautions now.
Yes.
And, the equipment is better. You've got all these guys with the back pads behind their head now
Yeah,
that, for like the last 10 years they've had them,
yeah,
that they didn't have before.
right,
A lot, there's certain plays like you can't hit helmet to helmet. um
right.
there's just certain precautions now that they didn't take before
Yeah, the
with
only
football.
problem, the only issue I had, and it's not in football as much. Like yeah, I think when I was talking about a little bit of this, and it's not a sport where there's really not much head to head or contact to head, but is in like the NBA, right? You see so much of this. Like what I was kind of getting at is sprained finger or like a
Yeah.
sprained pinky or this or that. And what I was touching on too, part of that is that a lot of times we give these players a hard time that are sitting or taking the night off, but a lot of times it's not their choice, right? It's either the
Yeah.
trainers or whatever. But in a sport like the NBA where there's not that physical head-to-head contact, they're not getting
Mhm.
hit. I mean, they still get hit in the head, don't get me wrong. A guy goes up and does a layup, or a guy comes to try to swat the ball, he gets an elbow in the head or something. It happens, but
It's
it's not a
rare.
constant hit to
Yeah,
the head.
it's rare unless somebody goes into the crowd. You don't really have
Right,
to worry about a serious injury like like in
right.
football, what LT did to I can't think of his name now.
Lawrence Taylor
It
to
ended
who?
his career. Ended his career. I'm having really bad brain fog today,
Oh,
so
you're good. You're good. I'm
um,
just good that you jumped on.
I've got fibromyalgia, which is a pain disease,
Oh, I
and
know all about it.
it gives. Do you have it, honey?
I don't have it, but I know all about it because I know someone that has it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still a rough bitch though. I don't. Oh, sorry.
No,
I
you're
don't.
good. It's an
I
18
don't.
plus.
I don't let it get me down. I'm telling you that right now. I've got a
Right.
really high pain tolerance. But oh, it ended his career. Johnny Unitas. No, Johnny Unitas was a long time ago. Um, who was it?
Uh,
You guys? It broke his
let me
leg
look.
right in half.
Somebody help us out here because I'm having a brain fart on this. Lawrence.
But it was Lawrence. It was Lawrence Taylor that tackled him, and his leg went out a way it shouldn't have, and he never played football again. Um, I got to ask him.
Wait, Joe Theismann?
Yes, Joe Theismann.
There you go. The quarterback. Yeah.
I was going to
That
ask him.
was in November of 1985.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch it. Yeah, and I didn't watch the UFC last night. Now, Hip Flippin' Son, my son did. We were gone all day yesterday running errands. By the time we got home, almost like 10 o'clock, we
Oh
got
wow.
something to eat. I just went to bed. I didn't even watch any of the UFC last night, so I don't know who won. But
Well, both champs contained their belt. They kept their belt. One was ended pretty quickly. The main one was ended quickly. The Max Holloway and the other dude, the co-main event, that thing went all rounds, but it was one-sided. But you got to give the kid Max Holloway a ton of credit, having a lot of heart, because like I was explaining these guys earlier, he had gotten like an elbow. They had clinched up and got separated. And an elbow caught him like right in the eyebrow or whatever, and it split
oh,
it. Like,
the
and
cut the cut area.
you could see it completely clear. And every time you went to the corner, the cut man would basically, it was almost like a uh not a toothpick, but like a whatever you call it. It'd be like the size of that he would basically get it right in
Q-tip.
between the cut, and you'd apply pressure like the whole time while there, and then put that and just go it with Vaseline,
Vaseline,
and
yeah.
he'd keep that blood out of the guy's. I mean, eye pretty well. I thought they were gonna call it after like the third round because I thought the cut was gonna get too bad, but he went all 5 rounds like with
You
that
get
cut.
you
Like,
get a good cut, man,
yeah,
and they can
very
make
good
you
cut, man.
last. Yeah, they can
Yep.
make you last. But as far as I'm putting my jewelry away. Sorry. This is like the kind of jewelry that I sell. Like maybe
So for a second, let's just kind of touch on that. You can probably drop your link into it. We got a lot more guys
yeah.
here, but maybe they'll find something for their women or
I
their
sell men
daughters or something.
I sell men's rings too. I sell necklaces. Like this is, and don't go to another channel, doofuses. This is only
Do
going
you
to be
know?
a minute.
Do you know?
Like
Do you make any cool like men's bracelets?
I'm just getting into making jewelry, but it's jewelry for me.
Yeah,
But I'm doing a lot of soldering now. And I
gotcha.
actually just upgraded. I bought a propane torch yesterday. This is the
Okay.
only men's ring I have left, which is like a 13 and a quarter, and
Hmm.
that's lapis.
So did you? I mean, obviously, like most businesses took a hit, like pandemic time. How did the jewelry side of the game go? Did you really see any difference? Was it better?
No,
Was it about the same? Was it?
nope. I've been doing the jewelry. I've been a flipper since 2000, but that's why I'm hip flipping mama. I'm hip.
Of course.
Um, I mean, I was always the cool mom where, the big football players and the baseball players. My son was usually captain of everything. He was a truly gifted athlete.
That's
He had
awesome.
it all through high school. He had scholarships and had to have his shoulder completely reconfigured
Oh wow.
um, because he had pulled ligaments and stuff in it from wrestling, and total reconstructive surgery on his shoulder. He was a pitcher and a first baseman in baseball and won all kinds of awards. He was always in the paper. Um, and then in football, he was a quarterback. And then when he got in high school, he was a linebacker. And then I don't know what he played. I don't know what position he played on the offense. Cornerback, maybe? I'm not sure. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, so I don't even know where I was going with that.
Well, just a hip flip as a
Oh yeah.
hip
Oh yeah.
mom in the
Well,
community. Yeah.
so all the boys would always come to our house. We built this great big 3,000 square foot house. And it was sad when Cowboy retired, Jay.
Yes.
And then when our son was in high school, because he was captain of football, captain of baseball, and the entire baseball team would come over, and the entire basement was theirs, or the entire football team would come over.
Yeah.
And he'd always be like, Mrs. Haggard, stick around. Or my baseball boys used to call me Big Mama because when my son was 5, he played t-ball, and he was so frustrated. He did all the plays. He didn't even count on all the other players. He just ran to the bases, and yeah,
Yeah.
he just did everything. But
You
we had
know.
to tell him he couldn't do that. But when he was 7, he played with the 10 and 11-year-olds, and he was our pitcher.
Okay.
And we got away with it because my husband said, "You need coaches. I'll coach if you let my son play."
Yeah.
So because he was
That's
a
good.
real big kid, but
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
good though. Playing
yeah.
up a couple of age groups. Yeah.
So
Like.
and then he always played travel ball. He played on like 4 different travel teams,
Okay.
and that's how I actually got to know Muhammad Ali and Lonnie. And you don't really get to know Muhammad. You're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Right.
Although I did manage to smooch him a couple times. But I adopted the Niles baseball team when we were in the USSSA. There's 3 S's. World Series.
Yeah.
We played against them, but we would play against them in I think 3 out of the 4 of the travel teams my son was on, because they lived in Michigan and they played for the Niles team. So
Okay.
That's how I got to know them. But yeah, Muhammad Ali, I don't know if I ever told you this story. Muhammad Ali asked me one time, mumbled, "Who's my favorite fighter?" And
Did you say floats like a butterfly and stings
what
like a bee?
what do you guys think? That's a photograph that my son got me. And then there's a print over there. That's a silk print.
Tyson?
It's
Mr.
yeah, so
Iron Mike.
he and I love to talk boxing, and he's like, who favorite fighter? And I was like, Mike Tyson. And his wife about peed her pants. She was laughing so hard. And I never cared for Muhammad Ali because he was way before my time.
Right.
I
Yeah, you
didn't
never got to enjoy, like, the live, like, when he was in
get
his prime
right,
doing it. You'd only see
right,
highlights like we all do now, yeah.
exactly. I didn't get into boxing until Sugar Ray Leonard. I was running a cable company while I was in management of a cable company when Sugar Ray Leonard took on Donnie Lalonde. And it was like an exhibition. I think it was, I don't think it was sanctioned, but,
Okay.
and I was like, I had this big poster over my desk, and I'm just like, there's no way this 6'4" guy is going to lose to this little 5'11" or 5'10",
Right. Right.
skinny little guy. My husband's like,
Yeah.
oh no, Sugar Ray's going to beat him. And I'm like, there's no way. And we made a bet. I'm not going to tell you what the stakes were. We were much younger then.
Uh-huh.
They weren't illegal. They're okay. Sexual. So anyway.
Ah. Ah.
So anyway. I lost because Sugar Ray Leonard wiped the floor with Donnie Lalonde. I actually have a picture of Donnie Lalonde signed, but all my boxing stuff's in a great big box. I'm redoing my office so I can display all my boxing figures and memorabilia. But in watching this fight, I was like, because we used to have all the boxing fights in our 2.5 car garage. We had
Yeah.
we had a ring set up in there, so we had
Yep.
the ropes all along the walls. And because I worked at the cable company, I got all the promotional posters, and I got badges, and we just had boxing parties, and they were so much fun. We were in our early 20s,
Yeah.
and
Do you
I
have any Mike
learned.
Tyson rookie cards or any they have those USA, like, when he's got, like, the USA on, like, the autographed ones, like, there's actual, like,
I
cards. I've
I
actually
have
looked at possibly
I
getting one.
have them.
Pretty cool.
They're not signed.
Oh,
I've got some, but they're not signed. I've got a Bob Greasy rookie card too. That's not signed.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, a
but
lot of
yeah,
that stuff's
so
gonna be hard to get signed anyway, because back then, they didn't have you couldn't pull the autos. The only way you're getting that signed or would've got that card signed back then would have been if it was hand signature. You know what I mean? Like, if you're at a
mhm.
training camp or at a game or somehow and you caught
Well,
him and, "Sign
listen,
my card."
listen to this really quick. Let me to finish my little story.
Yeah.
I'm watching this boxing, right?
Mhm.
And I grew up in a house full of jocks, okay? And a dad that coached his boys as much as he could. And so I was always around sports, and I just think subliminally it has gone into my psyche. And I'm sitting there watching. I'm sitting there watching this boxing match, and I'm just like, this is an art form. If you really watch, if you watch a skilled boxer, an exceptional boxer,
Right.
it is really an art form. And Sugar Ray was just Sugar Ray Leonard, not Robinson. Um, he was just to be studied.
Right.
He was incredible. And I just fell in love with it. It was just like, oh my gosh. And then I was hooked. And that was just heavyweights for a long, 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 long time until you got to the Klitschko era when it got really
Right.
boring,
Right.
the decade of the Klitschkos. And then I
Yeah.
moved to other weight classes. But yeah, really quick, when uh, Muhammad Ali was giving me dirty looks, and he shook his fist at me when I told him Mike Tyson was my favorite fighter. I said, "It's all right, champ. I'll give you a kiss. And so I gave him a kiss right on the lips.
Oh,
And his wife was just laughing. And then he just gave me like a little grin. And then after that, I think that was like the second time I met him that I was, invited over to their great big Class A motorhome because Muhammad wasn't there all the time. He was
yeah,
only there 3 or 4 times, and have lunch with them and, stuff like that. But I was mostly friends with the team.
yep.
But yeah, because his Muhammad's youngest son that he and Lonnie adopted played against my son. But yeah, so now I'm into UFC and MMA because I had to
Well, it's
branch out.
transitions. Yeah, transitions. Yep,
It's,
definitely.
my son doesn't watch boxing, but he does watch MMA and UFC. So if
Yep,
I watch MMA and UFC, then we have something in common,
right.
something we can talk about. So,
It's kind of incredible how, like, I mean, everybody throughout the era of the UFC, as far as for the MMA side of the game of sports, has helped grow the sport. There's some that have helped a lot more, and it still amazes me, and it's because of the kid's mouth, but it still amazes me how many people got brought in to MMA and the UFC from Conor McGregor.
oh yeah,
And
well,
as much as he was a champ, two-time champ, all this whatever, like he was when he was tested to the abilities of an actual fighting an actual pure truest MMA fighter that had all rounds of the game
hmm
pretty well mastered, that's when he lost. And a lot of
yeah,
people will argue that a lot of his trail through his championships, through his winning careers and stuff were always because of they always matched him up to his abilities, to where he was the strongest. And those few times where it was questionable were those few times that he actually ended up losing. And I just bring it up because MMA is such a game of not only on the feet, not only throwing the hands and throwing the kicks, but the wrestling and the jujitsu side and having good ground game. Yes, he's a good wrestler, but when he gets within another wrestler and a black belt in jujitsu,
hmm
he gets taken advantage of, and that
well,
was one of his weak points in his game. But his mouth got him there. His mouth got him there. He could sell fights, that's for sure.
wasn't Ronda Rousey before Conor McGregor?
Yes, so she
Because
was another one that yeah.
Ronda Rousey is the one, in my opinion, that blew. And I don't know if she was UFC or MMA, but
Yeah,
she blew it
she was
out of
with
the
the
water.
UFC. Yeah, she was with the UFC. Yeah.
Yeah, she blew it out of the water. If it wasn't for Ronda Rousey, you wouldn't be seeing women MMA
Oh,
fights.
for sure. Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
even though Ronda Rousey couldn't box to save her life. Oh, little
Right.
squirrel, little baby squirrel. Sorry, um,
Squirrels. No, I'm just kidding.
squirrel, literally squirrel. Um,
Right.
but yeah, she only had her arm bar. That's all she had going for her was her
Right.
arm bar and her judo.
Right.
But um, yeah,
Her judo throws were nasty though.
yeah, in my opinion, that's what blew it up. And then you had Connor who had the
Ran his
mouth.
mouth.
Well, you had Kimbo, in the beginning that he was well known. You had Chuck
Kimbo just
Liddell,
never really, yeah,
you
he
had
brought the
Tito
street
Ortiz.
side, but he never really had great success in the actual octagon. Like he was that legendary street fighter and that name from the YouTube world of legendary street fighter. I don't know that we'd have to go back and look at how many wins he actually had in the UFC, but I don't think he had a very good career once he got to UFC. Yes, it helped because of the name. The name sells it. He's a legendary street fighter. That's going to help grow. Anything like that's going to help. But he never found success in the octagon, and I think it's just because, again, when he was street fighting, he was literally just knocking people out, standing up, whatever. Guys would
You're still
show
talking
his
about Connor,
weakness.
right?
No, Kimbo
Oh,
Slice.
Kimbo. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so guys would literally avoid getting knocked out that he would fight in the octagon, and they would get him to the ground, and then he wasn't very good at
Mm-hmm.
defending the ground, so he would get choked out or arm barred or whatever,
Well,
you know,
and
break the guy's arm.
the bigger guys usually aren't, but
Yeah, right. Yep.
but then you've got, Chuck Liddell, who was, I think, 5'11". He wasn't really big.
Oh, I love that
Um,
was one of my favorite fighters back like in the beginning days. Yeah, the
we have
Iceman.
my husband and I have a buddy. Well, it's my husband's buddy that is a professional. He was a professional boxer. We used to go and watch him like in Grand Rapids box and
Yeah,
whatnot. And
yeah.
he looks just like Chuck Liddell.
Oh, really?
The mohawk, or he
That's
did. I
crazy.
haven't seen him in a couple of years, but I saw
That's
him one time
crazy.
in the wild, and I went, "Hey, buddy." He goes, "I'm not Chuck Liddell. I know you think I am, but I'm not Chuck Liddell." I said, "I know you're not
He
Chuck
had the
Liddell."
haircut and everything else too.
Oh
Like,
yeah, oh yeah. I said, "Will you just look at me?" And so he turns and looks at me, and goes, "Hey," because he gets it. He gets it all the time. People thought he was
yeah,
Chuck
the
Liddell.
Iceman, the
But then
Iceman.
you had Tito Ortiz, and then you know
Mhm.
all the new guys. I don't know. I don't see Brock Lesnar as UFC. I know. I just see him as a wrestler.
I couldn't stand him being in the UFC personally.
I've
Myself,
never watched him fight in UFC, so I don't
I
know.
couldn't stand it. I was like, dude, really? And like, he got knee barred. Like, his what was that? Wasn't that this first fight? He got knee barred. He actually lost all the hype, and he
I
actually
don't
got
know.
knee. Yeah, he got knee barred. Knee barred. Like, dude got his leg and just knee barred him. Like,
All right, so I've got my. I don't mean to interrupt your
go ahead. Go
previous
ahead.
conversation, but I did. So clearly, I did mean to interrupt it.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, Timmy, Ronda did. She had a good ground game, and she could take a hit. She was very tough.
Oh, she was a
Um,
real. Yeah.
but when she would win and her opponents would tap, it was because of the armbar. Just like Conor McGregor, when he would tap, I think he tapped 3 times in his career.
2 or 3 in the UFC. Yeah. Yep.
I think it was 3, and they were all from chokeholds,
Yep.
from what my memory is.
Yeah. Yeah, he got rear naked by Nate Diaz, and I don't remember who the other ones were, but it was it's pretty much rear naked chokes or whatever. Get his back and take control of him. And again, that was showing that was basically going after his weakness, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not like the thing that I give credit to Nate Diaz too on that whole side of things is Nate didn't just take him right down in the beginning. Like he stood with him. He fought like 2 rounds, 3 rounds with him, just swinging, exchanging punches, etc. And
Hmm.
then exposed him on his weakness, took him to the ground, and choked him out. So it's not like he just did it right away where he didn't show like he could stand with Connor, which he could. You know, he could stand
Hmm.
with the best of
Well,
them.
did you watch? And I'm sorry if my being on here is boring all you guys out there. I hope not.
Oh, it's good. It's good to have different people in here.
Um, but did you see the fight, the boxing match between Mayweather and Conor?
Yes, yes.
I thought Conor did exceptionally well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
However, Floyd Mayweather was holding back. You could tell.
Oh yeah,
I hate Floyd Mayweather, and he's from Grand Rapids, which is an hour from me here in Michigan.
yeah.
But I can't stand him.
Oh,
I can't.
yeah. No, yep,
He's tacky. He throws money around.
yeah.
He
TMT.
burned $100 bill. Burned $100 bill when he was in the crowd at one of the fights one time, and I just thought, all the homeless people we have. That
Right,
how many meals that $100 could have,
right.
fed
Yep.
to the homeless, and I just thought, you son of a, you know,
Exactly.
and I'm just like, I can't stand him. And
Yeah.
every time somebody fought him, I wanted him to lose so bad, but
Right.
I knew it probably wasn't going to happen. Now
Yeah.
you have to give him the fact that he had the dedication. I mean, he trained full out, trained twice a day.
Oh yeah.
Like 4-hour workouts twice a
Yep.
day, where
Yep.
another boxer would do, like a run and then a workout.
Yep.
He would do that twice.
Right.
I mean, he was an incredible boxer. He's actually fighting in Japan. Let me look and see, because
Who is Mayweather?
I put this all in my happy planner. because
Mayweather's fighting in
boxing makes
Japan?
me happy. He is fighting Mayweather versus Makura
Huh.
Asakura. Asakura.
I thought he was
Oh, there's my anniversary right there.
33 years. Wow, it's a long
33
time.
years.
I thought he was like retired, done.
He is. But I think this guy isn't. Maybe somebody can um, Google that for us. That would be wonderful. You spell the last name, it's Mikuru, and the last name is Asakura. I don't
Never
think
heard of the
it's
guy.
I don't think it's boxing. I think it's a UFC or something like that.
Oh, maybe maybe more like a kickboxing or Muay Thai or
Yeah,
some kind of
I don't know.
hands and
I
it's
don't know
different.
why he's doing it, but yeah, I think he just wants a big
Yeah, I don't know
payday.
if Airtime's still in here, Jeff Airtime, but if you are, you watch the end of this later. If you're not in here, happy belated birthday, by the way. I know it was your birthday's the same day as Jimmy Gunn's, which was last Saturday, I believe, or 2 weeks ago, maybe. But happy belated birthday, buddy, because I
Happy
haven't seen you since.
birthday.
Haven't seen you since before then, so I
If
saw you in the chat at least a little while ago. You may not still be here, but either way, happy birthday, belated birthday, my friend. Hope you're
Happy
doing
birthday. If
good.
I had if
Yes.
I had a voice today, I would sing to you.
All
I
right,
have a
there you
different
go.
I have a different birthday song. It's not happy birthday.
Oh, she's got a special one. I don't
Well,
think he's in here anymore anyway. To be honest with
but
you.
yeah, so in August, I don't think there's anything exciting happening in July. Actually, I pulled up a schedule here earlier today. Hang on. Um, yeah, on July 9th,
Uh-huh.
which is a Tuesday. I mean, they're not big fighters, but Derek Chisora, who just lost his house because he bet his house on the Tyson fight, the
Oh,
last Tyson
geez.
Fury fight.
Yeah.
He bet his house that Fury would lose, and he lost, of
Wow.
course. And during the after fight press conference, Tyson
Yep.
Fury said, "Hey, Chisora, I have an empty house right next to mine. You're more than welcome for you and your family to live there as long as you need. I hear
Wow.
you lost your house. You can come live right next to us." I don't know if he took him up on that, but he's fighting a guy named Pulev, Pulev. I've never heard of that fighter.
Huh.
But so I'm going to watch that. Ryan Garcia's fighting
Oh,
somebody I've never
Garcia.
heard of.
He's a stud.
Yeah, I like
But
Ryan
why are
Garcia.
these guys fighting all these guys that no one's heard of? Like that's what I don't
Well,
understand.
it's not so much that nobody's heard of them. I'm not familiar with them. I don't know every boxer in the lower weight classes, especially
No,
Ryan
right.
Garcia's, because I'm just now getting into the straw weights,
But
and
you
the
think you would
lightweight.
have at least heard of this person a few times if they're going to be fighting a guy like a Ryan Garcia. That's what I'm more getting at. I'm the same way too. Just like in the UFC, there's some guys who I'll be like fighters that I'm fans of, and they're like all of a sudden they're fighting this guy, and I'm like, who? This name? Who
Well,
is this guy? What is this? But you would think we would have heard
you
of him.
would think that I would know, right? Because I have got every single The Ring magazine for the last 15 years
Wow,
because my son gets it for me every Mother's Day. So
nice.
you would think that um I would know all these guys, but I don't. And then I don't know if this is going to happen. This is August. The fights I'm telling you about are August, except for Derek Chisora. But Tommy Fury. Have you heard of Tommy Fury?
Yeah,
He's Tyson Fury's little brother.
yeah.
He's supposed to fight Jake Paul. And that's supposed to be on August 6th, which is
Wow.
a Saturday. But because Tyson Fury used a promoter back in his early career
Yep.
that was linked to the mob,
No shit.
They are now, because this mob person's on the run. Okay. Tyson Fury was denied entrance into the United States. Tommy Fury was denied entrance into the United States. So
Wow.
unless they, even though Tommy Fury's never had anything to do with this promoter, never even met him, he may not be able to fight Jake Paul. And I really want those two to fight because I can't stand Jake Paul. I
Right.
know Jake Paul's got potential. When you watch him box, he's got potential. Okay.
But isn't he always been fighting most guys he's fought besides? And if I'm not mistaken, even what's his face that was a former UFC fighter, Tyrone Woodley, I
Mhm.
believe weight class wise, like true weight class wise, most of these guys he's fighting are not near his weight. Like he's way bigger than these guys.
Well,
That's what I've been hearing.
I
So some kind of advantages there too. I mean, it's just like
don't
in
think,
wrestling, you know,
I don't think Tyrone Woodley was that much smaller than he was shorter than him by about 5
right.
inches, I think. But I don't think weight wise Jake Paul was that much bigger because Jake Paul is lean. So he's just tall. But Jake Paul is trained by Shannon Briggs,
Yeah.
who was a significant boxer in the 90s and the 2000s.
What's his line again? Get him,
Let's
champ, or
go,
what?
champ.
Let's
Let's
go,
go,
champ.
champ.
Let's go, champ. Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go, champ.
What's up,
Let's
David?
go,
How you doing,
champ.
buddy? Let's go, champ.
Let's
Yeah,
go, champ. Let's go, champ.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
his merch. Let's
yeah,
go, champ. And because I've watched a lot of Tommy Fury training
yeah,
and sparring,
yeah.
and he does have talent. Okay, he's got talent, but I can't stand him. It's like Mayweather.
Right.
Um, I just don't like him. You know, just
Yeah.
his YouTube crap. I just don't, disrespectful. So I'm hoping that Tommy Fury gets in the country so he can fight him.
Right.
And then on August 20th, the world's going to come to a standstill because Alexander Usyk is going to fight Anthony Joshua. You know who these guys are?
Uh,
Alexander Usyk. He's from what's the country that's fighting
the,
Russia right now?
oh,
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a Ukrainian boxer.
Okay. That's
He's a
cool.
beast. He's a beast.
Yeah.
And I think that Usyk is one of the reasons Tyson Fury retired.
Oh, really?
I really do think that, yeah, because Usyk is just now in the top 10, right? So he's just now in the top 10, which will put him in position for sanctioned belt fights. He's not the tallest guy, but he's a beast. He's kind of like what George Foreman used to be. He's a hard puncher and he's got a brick chin. You know, you couldn't move tight. You couldn't move George Foreman
Yeah.
unless you used one of those equipment things. You
Forklift.
know,
Yeah.
well, yeah, forklift, whatever. But yeah, because Foreman could take a punch and he could give a punch.
Right.
If you ever want to see a really, really good fight, and I know the date because it was the last time I was ever drunk, but it was June 8th, 1993. And that is when Tommy Morrison fought George Foreman.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think I remember that.
that was an exceptional. Everybody out there is Googling to see if I'm right
Tommy
now.
Gunn. Tommy Gunn.
Tommy the Duke Morrison. That was his name. But Tommy ended up winning barely, but it's the only reason he ever got a belt.
Same guy that was in Rocky, right?
Yeah, Rocky 5.
Yeah.
The only reason that Tommy Morrison had the chance to become a champ is because Mike Tyson was in prison.
Right.
He was in prison during that time. But Usyk, he has that same ability. He's a beast.
Yeah.
He is a beast. And he's just now starting to be able to fight these guys that are of exceptional talent. And he's going to learn so much more, from fighting all these guys. First time
Right.
he fought Joshua, he knocked him out
Hmm.
it wasn't that many rounds. I can't remember how many rounds, but yeah. And yeah, thank you,
Crazy.
David. Who was a former Golden Gloves champion, David? You talking
Probably
about
one of those boxers that are
Shannon
fighting.
Briggs? Shannon Briggs was ruthless. He
Yeah.
used to go out in boats and chase Vladimir Klitschko down in the water and badmouth him
Oh
because
yeah.
Klitschko wouldn't fight him.
Trying
But
to get those fights.
let me see what else is coming up. I don't have them all memorized. And if I did, I wouldn't be able to tell you anyway. Clarissa Shields is fighting in September.
Who?
Clarissa Shields.
Who's that?
Oh my God, she's a big UFCer.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
She's like the Mike Tyson right now. And then Andy Ruiz Jr. is fighting Luis Ortiz on September 4th. Now, we all know Andy Ruiz Jr. is the Buster Douglas of today.
Yeah.
So,
He is.
yeah, but I like Luis Ortiz. So, but Luis Ortiz is at the end of his career. You don't even know any of these people I'm talking about, do you?
No.
How about these? September 17th, Saul Canelo Alvarez
Canelo, I know.
versus Triple G.
Triple, yeah. Gigi,
Do,
Jin,
do you
whatever.
know what Triple G's name
Yeah.
is?
Gio,
It's
Giovari or something. Giovari something, right?
it's Gennady Golovkin.
Oh, isn't there what the hell is the guy? I'm thinking of another guy then that starts with, isn't there like a Gionavi or something? Boxer? It's like a
No,
lightweight or
you
flyweight or
might be
something.
talking about I don't know. I can't remember what his first name is. Is it maybe it's Alex Lomenchenko? Lomenchenko.
Yeah, I don't none of these
Sorry.
guys I know. None of
I
these
was
guys
I
I
was
know.
an announcer for the boys for baseball.
There you go.
Uh yeah, I used to do the scoreboard. My husband used to do the scoreboard and I would do the announcing. That was my announcing voice.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's what I was saying in the comments last time. There's so many good fights coming up.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to talk boxing anymore because you can't talk boxing. So
No, I'm not. I got to get up on my boxing, but yeah, I don't know. Probably I got to get the dog out here soon for a walk. We've been on what, an
see,
hour? We've been
I
on
bored,
almost an hour 20 minutes.
I
Hour
bored
20.
you.
No. You didn't bore me. It's just I very rarely go over about an hour or so. I mean, typically that's usually on my lives. Unless I have something specifically planned or I'm doing an auction or something like that, or unless
I
it's
have.
like the whole Playmaker podcast, which we planned out to go 3 hours, or whatever, with enough stuff
I'm.
to.
I'm gonna do an auction at 4, but
Well, drop
it's not.
your.
It's
Hey,
not gonna
well,
be jewelry. It's gonna be like.
drop your. Well, at least post a comment again in the chat since you've been on the panel. But while you're in there, post a thing. Then make sure you guys. Most of you guys have grabbed her or subbed her up, but make sure you guys check her out. She'll be doing an auction at 4 o'clock. Which time zone?
It's Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern, but it's going to be
It'll
like
be
my
3 o'clock
glassware.
Central.
It'll be like my glassware and stuff like that. Like like
Well,
ceramic items. It'll
if
be
some of
things
you
like that.
guys aren't into that, maybe your wives might be. You never know. There's a lot of these guys got their wives or whoever if they're not into like the glassware type stuff, maybe they would. So maybe they could check it out, and
All
then
right,
just check her out for any of her other
I
lives as well.
will. But I've got about 6,000, 7,000 cards sitting right over here.
Well, you should do a card auction sometime.
Well, yeah, I got to go through because I've got a lot of
All
the
these guys would
90s.
show up. What's
I've
up,
got.
Peds? How you doing, brother?
Oh,
There's a legend. There's a living legend right there. Peds card collection, guys. Make sure you guys are subbed up to that fella as well. with
I've
all
got
his monster pulls that he does live, ripping his packs.
I've
What is
got
that?
like 6 or 7 of these that are crispy.
What are
They
those?
they were never taken out of the package.
What are they those?
I gotta go
Upper
through
Deck
them.
Touchdown?
I
I don't
got
even know
it.
that I've heard of.
Yeah.
I don't remember
It
anything like that.
is Upper Deck Touchdown Super Value Pack. Includes stars, rookies, and much more. 300 football trading cards. I've got a bunch of these. And I haven't even gone through them yet.
You're like,
But this is like the condition that they're in. So I mean, they're
just show one or two, but show the front. Like I want to see the front. Just like collector's choice. Okay, but that's weird. It doesn't say that outside in the box. It just says like touchdown. That's why I was like Upper Deck Touchdown. That's why I was confused because I was like, I've never heard of Upper Deck Touchdown.
and then
But
I've got let me show you these because I love these. I've got this great big dude, this great big thing that I got to go through.
big old binder. Yep, the old
Well,
school
that's not
binders. People
mine.
still use them. Like, yeah.
I have all my boxing ones over here in binders. I've got
Careful
like
with
complete
closing
sets.
that because you're make sure all the pages get or because you could damage
It's
your.
open. It's
No,
open
no,
on
no.
my
I know.
side desk
But
here.
earlier when you were like about to, like when it was closing it, just make sure so you don't damage your card.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, honey. I've come a long way. There's room in this box. I've come a long way in how I handle the cards. But like when we went to the card show in Chicago last year, the
Yeah,
Nationals,
yeah.
that's when I got to meet Anthony, and I picked up a whole bunch of stuff. Like a bunch of these, like that
Okay.
Sugar Ray
Oh,
right
that's
there.
cool. Yeah, boxing.
I picked up a Pistol Pete, love Pistol Pete, but I got a bunch of like these, like this is Rocky Marciano,
Oh yeah, old photos. Yep.
and dude, that's a Rocky Marciano ring.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's got his
Cool.
49 and 0.
Wow.
It's not going to focus. But anyway, so yeah, I got a bunch of these, and some of them are signed. But have you ever seen? I've got these cards that my husband was like, "Wow, I've never seen cards like that." They're really big.
So they're like jumbos.
They're
A lot of
jumbo.
people call them jumbo. Yeah, but I
I've
don't.
got
Yeah.
a bunch of those. Um, but yeah, and then I've got these ones that are tall. I have a bunch of hollows because I like hollows.
Oh yeah, from the old.
But I'm trying to learn like what these cards are, and I've got Junior Seau in this box. What these cards are, why it is what it is, and then I've got great big like 8.5 9x12
Yeah.
laminated posters and stuff of the old boxers that are signed and stuff like that.
Was your son into cards or any of that or no? Or is he not?
No. In fact, excuse me, he had made a comment. Gee, Mom, I'll get a lot of Dad's collectibles, but we don't have anything in common. What are you going to leave me when you die? And I was like, shit. So that's when I started
Trying to get
collecting
into it.
cards.
Nah, that's
That's
cool.
when I started collecting cards.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Mom, I'm not really into cards, but I am working on a display for him right now. And I better not. Well, he's not going to listen to this. He listens to
Right.
mine.
Yeah,
But
but he was.
I picked up about 10 or 12 years ago a bunch of Derek Jeter cards when he was in high school.
Okay.
And I'm going to, well, I can't get into that story. But because my son, Derek Jeter's from my hometown.
Okay.
And my son almost broke a bunch of Derek Jeter's records from when he was at the high school. He missed his home
Wow.
run record. He missed his home run record by one. I believe it was by one because my son would only hit home runs at center field where Derek would go left or
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, my son, it had to be center field. every time, or he'd had a lot more home runs, and then he would have beat him. But yeah, I've got like 2 boxes of, like these and like Star Trek ones and all that
Yeah,
kind. But these are they're all in really great shape.
that's good. So
So
did you pick those up at like did you like those specifically? Did you pick those up at like a card show, or are
nope,
those just ones you've had for
I
a
caught
while?
an online auction,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and they were selling these like a few boxes at a time, and I just kept bidding and bidding, and I won. I didn't pay very much for all
Right.
of them that I
Right.
got, but then my husband's probably got 5 or 6 well, maybe not that many, maybe 2 or 3 thousand cards that
Okay.
we're gonna go through, hopefully, if not tonight, tomorrow, and sort through them all, because I gotta send Anthony a bunch of cards to grade. But I want to keep most of the dolphin ones, but I like to look back at.
Well, get some of them graded though too. Like if they're like tour rookies or something.
Oh,
Even
I
if you're gonna
will.
keep them, you should have them. If you're
I
sending
will.
them, have them graded.
I'm going to get my Bob Greasy rookie card graded, even though it's not in perfect
Yeah, but
condition.
that doesn't matter because a lot of those vintage older cards, they don't. It's very rare you're gonna find a very high grade anyway on any of them. The value's still there. It's gonna help the value.
I
Even if
just
it's simply a grade, what they call just authentic, because there's so many reprints and so much BS out there. Like
Mhm.
even if you have like an old vintage card that's graded authentic versus like an actual like certain number grade to it, will increase the value because there's so much out there that's bogus, that's fake, whatever. That
Mhm.
shows that it's truly an authentic card, original
Yeah.
card, not reprint.
When I was at Nationals last year, my husband and we went to Nationals because we wanted to meet Anthony in person, because
Yeah.
all the years that Anthony and I did Bible study together, and
Oh wow.
it was a channel called Flippin, and we did it on YouTube. We did it for like 3 years, 2.5
Okay.
years or something like that, because Anthony is a double ordained minister. So I don't know if you guys know that about
I
him,
don't
but
think I knew that. No,
um
that's a fact. Fun fact that I just found out.
but um so we went to meet him in person, and they were letting me take out this heavyweight belt. They were asking 10,000 for it. And I was talking boxing with the guy, because it was a booth primarily that was boxing. So
Yeah.
me and this guy are talking boxing and everything, and I'm like, could I please take that out, and will you take a picture of me holding it? He goes, you sure can, baby. You go right ahead. And I said, thank you for trusting me. He had to unlock it and everything. So I have pictures of me holding Ray Mercer's heavyweight belt, right? Flash forward, I just got in the mail yesterday a Ray Mercer signed auto.
Oh wow. That's cool.
So in the card, it's in a case. It's not sealed case, but it's in really good condition. So I'm gonna send that in to be graded for sure.
That's
But
awesome.
I'm not gonna sell it, because of course I want to keep it. But
Yeah. No,
yeah,
that's awesome.
I've got to go through all of my cards except
Yeah.
My Larry Birds and
I'm gonna have
my,
so much
my
organizing to
Dolphins.
do too to get ready for this 24-hour stream in about 3 weeks. So be
And
multiple.
you're gonna be doing card auctions.
Well, it's not just card auctions. So every time I do my 24-hour stream, I kind of do a little bit of everything that my channel is about, which is a lot of different things. So we do sports card auctions. I'll get some product to open. We're gonna tour the local card shops around here. So I'll take like a Lyft or Uber, keep the stream going, and we'll go and
I've
I'll
seen
probably
you do that
interview.
before.
Yeah, I interview. I know most of the owners and stuff, and my buddies own one of the shops, Triple Diamond, here in town. So we'll hit up all those, maybe do like LCS tours, mini interviews with the owners, etc. Show off some of the stores. We'll go on walks. I'll have a panel like this that I'll have a bunch of people on that will eat up an hour, 2 hours, depending upon. I'll have the
That's
Playmaker
awesome.
podcast during it sometime, which will have all my guests or my hosts, my co-hosts for that podcast. I mean, we're going to do a little bit of everything, and that's typically how I like to run them. The last few that I've done have been primarily, I mean, well, I guess the last one we did in Ohio with Rip and Gypsy and them, I flew out there and they hosted at their house. We had a bunch of people that lived not far out. Some flew out, some drove out that were close. We had like 20, 25 people there. But my first 2, 3 24-hour streams I ever did, I just did myself, like here, and then going out and going places throughout the 24 hours, meeting up with some
That's
people
crazy.
locally or
I
whatever.
remember you did a
So
24-hour one time.
yeah, I've done like 5 of them, 5 or 6. One of them was not a full 24-hour. Wasn't the one I went when I went out to West Virginia to meet up with BITG, and he was just opening his card store there. We went like 15, 16 hours, and it's just the problem was I took a double shot with Jimmy Guns when he was starting his auction on his channel.
Yeah,
I had my stream on, and then I went on his stream, and I took a double shot with him, and I think that kind of cued me in because I usually don't drink or have any drinks when I'm doing these. There's no way I'm going to go 24 hours if that's the case. So that caught me at about 2, 3 in the morning. So, but it's always a good time. It's always fun. It's always a challenge. It's always interesting to me to see it'll be interesting to see how this one goes, but to see how many people are there at 2, 3, 4 through 5, 6, 7, 8 a.m. in the morning. There's usually a good 20, 30 people that are hanging out, helping push through at that weird hour time, which is always just surprising to me. And then we go on a walk, we take the dog on a walk at when the sun gets up to kind of refresh and get the body going again, like to really fresh air and just kind of wakes you up. So it'll be fun, but there's always a lot of preparation that goes in ahead of time, kind of trying to stretch out and space out the timing. And, because you don't want to get stuck to where you're at a point where you're 8 hours in and, oh, now what? Now what are we going to do for 16 hours, right? That's not where you want to be. So
are you going to do it
never
for
had an issue.
charity this time?
We'll see. I mean, I'm sure portion of it's going to go. Again, I'm not going to be like the auctions. The auctions will be like a percentage of the 24-hour stream. So that's really going to be the only time that I'm really selling anything, you know what I mean, for any money. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure we'll do something. Usually always there is something. I'm going to probably do another auction drive for Toys for Tots come winter time again.
That's
I'm
so
going to have that plan
nice.
a little better this time than last year. I mean, we still did it. We still donated, but yeah, I should have got involved more with like the Walmart's, Targets way ahead of time, because when I contacted them, I didn't have enough time by the time we had to do it to get clearance to be able to film in the stores, and they would have actually donated some money as well, which would have been cool. But we still raised a good chunk of money, and I mean,
Well, good for you.
That's really
I'm
what it's all
proud of
about.
you.
I appreciate that.
You know what these are?
The boxing picks, old picks.
It's a signed Rocky Marciano and a signed Sonny Liston.
Wow.
And then
nice.
this is just a copy of Jake LaMotta's signature. This is a print, a real thick cardboard
reprint. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I spent $1,100 at Nationals.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they say, plan if you're gonna go, plan to, anywhere from like 1,000 to 4,000 or 5,000, depending upon what you're looking to do.
Yeah, my husband bought one thing, and he spent $1,000 on it.
Oh yeah,
it was a Miami Dolphins full-size helmet signed by 95% of the 72 team.
Oh wow,
their undefeated team.
Yeah.
Now it was and the guy that sold it to us had the story and all the information. And they had a get together of all the people that were still alive, because there's like four or five guys that are passed away now. You'll never get their signature now. But he's got most of the signatures on the helmet.
That's crazy. That's actually
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that, and that's all. Yeah, that's really awesome. Plus, all his entire man cave is just all dolphin stuff.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, hit Flip Mama drops drop a comment
Oh, I'm
in the
sorry. Hang
chat
on.
too.
I'll get my link, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks
I
for popping on.
I
Love having you.
appreciate that. Well, I hope that you didn't lose any viewers.
No, you know what happens is that's why I usually only, unless it's like an auction or something or a planned like long stream, that's why I usually only go around an hour or so, is because I feel like in most cases, unless I have just a lot that I have to address or talk about or something, you go over like 40 minutes, half hour. If it's just a talk stream, you start losing them anyway. It doesn't matter who's on, who's here. It's just, people only have an attention span. Your average, I think, watch per viewer. I mean, most channels I think is anywhere from like 10 to 30 minutes. People kind of in and out. So
All right. I've got our stream up. I'm going to drop my link.
So she's going to drop her link, guys. Again, make sure if you haven't already subbed to her, check her out. She's going to be on at 3 Central, 4 Eastern time, doing a auction on her channel. And she does she sells jewelry. She's got an eBay store.
Yeah, I do sterling jewelry, and today's probably going to be mostly things that I normally would sell on eBay, but I do a lot of vintage items too.
Awesome.
So, but a ton of different stuff. It's and the person I'm gonna have doing it with me, her name's Crystal. She goes by Rosie's Closet. She's gonna have a ton of stuff on there.
Cool.
So we're just gonna hang out and thanks, Joe. I appreciate you, baby.
There you go.
I appreciate that. But guys in the chat, thank you so much for tolerating me. And it was kind of fun to come on and talk about sports.
It's cool hanging out and your boxing, the nice boxing knowledge and all that. And maybe we'll get you on a Playmaker podcast sometime too, when we're talking just a wrap of just about everything. So football, baseball, whatever's going on, kind of bring up and talk about. So
yeah,
we'd love to have you. Always love to have you.
You're one of the reasons I got into cards. So
I appreciate
Anthony,
that.
and I've got cards from you.
Hopefully it's not been a thing of a nightmare to where you've gotten into it and it's, I'm sure you seem like a very responsible, very controlling person, where it's not something that some people get into this stuff, and I've heard stories, and they get so deep into it, like getting into card breaks, and they start getting into them, and like they're racking up, like they're maxing out their credit cards, like getting teams and getting in these big breaks because they just feel like they think they're going to hit these big cards and recoup it all. It doesn't happen, and then they're like,
usually when I will go like on eBay or whatever and buy cards, like not this last NFL draft, but it was the draft before.
Yeah,
Anthony and I were watching the draft together.
Yeah,
virtually, and pick 1 through 10. I was going on eBay and getting bidding really high for me. And I was trying to get autos of 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Of the the draft pick, and I didn't get a chance to do that this year, but I wanted to get their autographs and stuff before they got really big, like Waddle and all the new guys.
Yep.
So, but thank you so much, and thanks you guys.
Yes, everybody have an awesome rest of the July 4th weekend. Have a safe 4th. Enjoy it with friends, family. Eat some food. Just be thankful for our independence, our freedom. Celebrate that, and be safe. And until next time, guys, love y'all. We'll see you soon. Take care.